Oh, now it's live. Okay.
Are we live now?
Yeah, it says live.
Okay, cool.
And I know Nori. Yep, there she is. Hey, Noria. Yeah, it's for internet, so we'll be patient. It's fine. It's fine, Noria. We'll hear you when we hear you.
We will.
I guess we can go around introducing ourselves first while we wait for her.
Oh yeah, Bree. I guess introduce it.
Yes. I'm trying to see. I can't really. Again, never done this before, so I'm trying to see. Oh, there are people on. Okay, cool. I was like, what's happening? All right, so we're gonna start. We're gonna not wait for Noria, but when she jumps in, she'll jump in. So what I would like for you to do is introduce yourself, your platform, and also what did you do to review this book as a part of Hear Our Voices book tour.
You want to go first? You go first.
Oh, me? I'm going first?
You go first because you got the question. So.
Okay. Noria popped out. It was probably a signal thing. We'll jump back in. Okay, so my name is Bree. I have Booktician as a booktube channel. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. People are trying to get me on Book Talk, but I ain't got time. So that's probably not going to happen. What I did a video of me reviewing the book as a whole, and then I did a peer ranking thing. So that was cool.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Book Shade said, huge fan, Bree.
Oh, thank you.
Alexia, you can go next if you want.
Okay. My name is Alexia. I am mainly a bookstagrammer at Bookish Ends, but I also blog occasionally, like once a week. I try. But for the Raybearer tour, I did my review and then I did a playlist. I only did 4 songs because when I tell y'all, it took me so long to find a good songs to go with the characters. Like I can only do 4 because I was like, I've been putting, some time into this. But it was really fun. So yeah, that's what I did.
Okay. I'm Leland. I am mostly on my blog, which is also sometimes Leland Reads, and I have an Instagram that I'm not really like actively pushing it. I just kind of post when I want and stuff like that. But well, I did an original book tag first, and then I did a review, and I did a dreamcast, and I did a journal spread. So I kind of went full on in for this one because I was just so excited with it. But yeah, I think my favorite thing that I did was the book tag that I made.
Okay. We're waiting still for Noria to pop back in. But Noria did an interview with actual Jordan Ifueko. How do we?
Ifueko.
I don't know why I said that loud, but that's kind of where we're at. I'm screaming it at you. Noria, you beautiful human.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. So the question is to introduce yourself and what did you do as the post for
my network is still, my internet is still so there's a lag.
Anybody hear that?
I heard her internet is still crappy.
I didn't hear the question.
Ah, cool. Hold on, Noria.
Oh, question is your name, your platform, and what you did for the Raybearer tour. Like what content you did.
Okay.
So I think we can talk, and then while Noria's coming on, we can kind of move on.
Okay.
because her internet, which is fine. I understand, but okay. Thank you, Noria.
I messaged her saying if it's easier for her to just message in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start first with our first impressions. Non-spoiler first impressions. I'm not going first this time.
Okay. Non-spoiler first impression. I really liked the cover. Like it just felt really sunny, like really sunny and bright to me. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be shiny. I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird feeling, but I just felt like it was going to be a really interesting adventure. And then reading like the synopsis, I was really intrigued because I'm like, why would she kill this prince when she's destined to protect him? You know, like that's what it tells you. So I was like, why would you do that? Like that doesn't make sense to me. So I was curious to see how that was going to go. But yeah, that was my first impression.
My first impression, so it was like the first 10 pages maybe. I was just like, wow, they jumping right in. Like it's happening all right now. What I really was enjoying was so much of what happened in the first 10 pages. Like the way that folklore and like myths are universal. It felt like stories that I had heard before in different cultures and different environments, and then it just became so unique and its own story, and which is completely something I'd never read before. I mean, you know, just with the beginning with the lady and Patrisse, I was shook, honestly. Like 10 pages in, and I was like, I don't know what's about to happen, but I'm about to love it. So that was my first impression.
Mm-hmm. So while you were reading the book, who was like the first character you were like, you know what? That's me though.
Wait, you didn't give your first impression.
Oh, I totally forgot. I was just doing roll. Okay. So my first
on yourself.
I was like, and next question. So my first impression was I'm here for the cover. I got to be honest. That was it. And then I was reading it and I was like, wow, this is not a skinny book. It's kind of thick. Do I have time to read this? And then next thing I know, I finished the whole book in a night. So that's pretty much what happened. But I was really here for the cover at first. And then I got really intrigued with the book because, like you said, the first 10 or 15 pages, was it? Something like that?
Yeah, like 10. Yeah, 10, 15.
Hearing about the character Melu, I just was like, oh my God, this is going to be good. So.
Can we talk about how I didn't realize that this was her hair until I finished? Like, I looked back at the cover at the end of the book and I was like, wait.
Her hair?
Isn't it
Yeah,
her hair?
her hair?
I thought it was just blackness. But that's her. I didn't even realize. Like, the layers to this cover, beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
When you get to that scene, like when you get to that scene, like I appreciated the cover so much more. Cause then you're right. I was like, oh my God, that's her hair. Yeah. Cause I could see like, it looks like I can see some braids on top, and that's what they were talking about in that part. And I was like, oh, that's the scene. Oh my God, that's the scene. I think I mentioned that on Twitter, that I was like, I think I know where the cover scene is from. So I like that. I like that you mentioned that. Real fast. Hi, Knox. I see you. I see Knox on here. Okay, what was your next question? Sorry. It was like, which character was it that you feel is...
Really remind me if I don't say myself. I have a tendency of doing that. Like I'll go in a group and be like, hey, how are you? And everyone's introducing themselves and they're like, but who are you? And I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm great. I always forget that. Okay, so the next question is, what was the first character that you liked, pretty much?
First? You can go first, Alexia, because I have to think about it.
Okay, so first that I liked, I really, Ekundayo just seemed so sweet. I was just, he just wanted friends and like, you know, to be loved. I don't know. He just like from the first instance that we see of him in the palace, I really was like, "Aw, I love him already. Like this, protect him with my life." But for characters that I saw myself in, or I was like, "This is me." I'm actually not sure. I feel like so Maya Angelou, she just was like hilarious. Like she was not in this book a whole lot, but she's just very funny and kind of extra. And you know, I was like, you know what? I feel you, girl. I feel you. Me too. So that's mine.
Okay. I like that. I like that. I felt the same way about Dio. I think the first person that I liked, though, besides Patrisse, of course, because I felt like she needed to be protected too, because she was so sheltered the way that she grew up, and then she's in this world, like just like, bye, here you go, enjoy, you know, and you're like, you're not prepared to deal with that right now. So I felt I had a soft spot for her, but I liked Kira. I liked her. I liked how she was just pretty like, I felt like she was pretty sure with herself the first time that we meet her, and then she got to befriend Patrisse in line. And I liked that, you know, Patrisse was able to have like that first interaction, like a good interaction. And it seemed like from there, I felt like she was going to have some sort of deep friendship with her if she made it to the council, because I was really hoping. And then when, you know, when they were confirmed of who was on the council, I was like, okay, cool. So we're going to get to see that. But I really liked Kira. And the person that I related to was probably Wu Yin, because he's really like, how do they describe him? He's like the broody character sometimes, but it's because he went through so much that it's a, you know, it's a scar on him basically, because he's still trying to deal with that trauma. But I related more to like his broody side and how like sarcastic he could be, but not like extra sarcastic. He was just like, yeah. So that's what I related to.
To be honest, apart from like I really like Patrisse, but my favorite character is Wu Yin though. It is Wu Yin. I just felt like there's layers we still don't know about, and I felt like another character got to know some of those layers, but it wasn't really spoken about. So I'm so happy it's a series, so maybe we can know next time more stuff.
Yeah. I'm curious to see if like Jordan would be inclined to maybe write like a little story about Wu Yin and what he dealt with as a child during that time. Maybe I would love to hear about it, because obviously that is something that not a lot of people have ever experienced, except for the very few that are somehow able to make it out. Because I'm not trying to spoil it, but
yeah, it's hard to spoil it.
So I'm okay. So it's just like, it's something that, you know, nobody can truly understand what these people have gone through unless you're in their shoes or actually them. So I know that maybe in the second book something may happen based on how that ending was, but I don't know if it'll be the same, you know. But yeah,
that's true. Did we lose somebody?
We lost Alexia, but she's there
you
you are.
You're pressing buttons and you shouldn't be. Yeah, that was me. Wait, but I didn't get to hear Bree. Wait, who was your favorite character? I didn't hear.
I love him.
Oh, same. He was so like tied to his cause, and I just like fully supported everything that he wanted. I was like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was so there were two. God, where is the book? When I did the tier ranking, there was like the iconic is like what I named for like the characters I really like. Wu Yin wasn't in the iconic section of the tier ranking, but I really still loved him a lot. But there was another character. Let's hope I'm saying her name. I'm looking for her name. It starts with an M. And
Umbali?
no, she was the one with the tutu spirits. The tutu spirits. And she was like, maybe you need a bath.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love her. She's
Yeah,
a
I
mood.
think I know who you're talking about.
She is the mood. So I was like, I love a good side character. Listen, they don't have to be up front. I love a good cameo. So
Yeah. No, I feel that.
um
Okay. Do you want to ask us a question, or do you want us to take turns asking questions?
you can take turns. I was reading this comment. The wooing comment should have given me away, I think.
Because Sammy is a brooder. That's my friend Sammy. She has that same personality, so she's like, yep, I can relate. She loved him too. Let's see. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying when it's gold, it's gold.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. One of my questions was for you guys, how did you feel about the whole concept of the Ray and the council and the process that it took to create the council and all that?
You want to go or me?
I mean, I'm ready, but if you're ready, you can go.
I'll let you go.
Okay, so I thought that was such an interesting element. The fact that, so in this book, for the council to be made, they have to basically kind of be tied to each other's minds. They have to accept kind of the Ray, which is basically letting each other into each other's minds. And so that was such an interesting element to me of picking them, and they have to be the right person. But I also was like, I don't know if I would want people in my mind all the time. Like, so in the book, we find out that basically if they're away from each other too long, they get really sick and they have to kind of all be together. They want to be together, but they have to be physically. And so I kind of was like, I don't know. Like, if I wanted to go on a little vacation, I couldn't because I would get sick. Or, and I think at one point Sanjeet mentioned that they kind of can put up guards in their mind so that they don't hear each other's thoughts. But still, if someone summons you through the Ray or like asks for you or something, you can hear that. And so I was like, I don't know how I feel about that part, but I still would want to be on the council because it seems cool.
Yeah, it's a no for me on the council. It's a natural hell no for me. That's kind of where I stand. I felt like I'm not joining no one's cult. It's not going to be me. No today, not today, Satan. So the whole concept was just a bit, it's going to be a no. Loved it in the book. Love it on other people. As for this person that I'm living in for 30 years, it's going to be a hell no for me, Bob.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay, that was so funny. Sorry. I'm sorry. That was freaking classic. Oh, Noria has her answer if you want to read it first, and then I will say mine.
Ooh, okay. I found it an interesting way to give the right to rule to an individual and at the same time ensure that the individual needed the group to balance them.
Yeah, I like that. It was a good checks and balances. It made sure that no one person was too powerful over everyone else. I liked it. For some reason, the way that the Ray worked, where they all like had to physically be around each other, but also because of the Ray they wanted to be. For some reason, I was reminded of like the mermaids in the series called Siren. I forget what TV show that's on, but just
love that show.
Right? Me too. Like, you know how like when all of them came on land and they were all like sleeping together in a pile, and they were just like, that's what I felt when we were reading it, and Patrisse and I would talk about how like they just slept with each other, like just all together and stuff. Yeah. So I was like, oh, you guys are like the mermaids from Siren. So that's what I thought.
How could you do that to me? And
Freeform. Noria's right.
Noria, you got us. You got us with the
There you
assist.
go.
I love Siren. They did us dirty with the last season. They did. They didn't give us as many episodes they did on the other ones. But COVID is real, so here we are.
Yeah.
Um,
But what else? Somebody actually mentioned, I think it was Joel on his video review, how he likes that the Ray was also consensual, meaning that both them and Dio had to love each other before it could actually be, before they could be bonded. And I thought that was a really good point too. I feel like I may have skipped on that in my review, but that was really important to me. It's like Dio could not force Patrisse to take on the Ray, even though he wanted her to. Like, he knew he was gonna want her on the council and stuff, but you know, the more she kept saying no, like he physically could not find her. And I like that he wasn't gonna force her anyway, but I thought it was funny how he would be like, "Do you love me now?" And she's like, "No." That just made me laugh. I'm like, I feel you, Patrisse. I feel you.
Yeah. I must also say I did get a little bit annoyed of how many times he kept asking. I was like, bruh, let's let it go now.
He's so eager. He loved her. He wanted her to love him.
But then I think about it, they were kind of young at that time too. So like that kind of reminds me of like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
That was one of the things in the book that was hard for me to grapple with, is I would forget what age they were, because they started like what, 12 or 13 or something, like, and then they went to a couple years to 16, and then by the where most of the book was, I wasn't even sure if they were like over 18 yet. Like that was one thing I was like, I don't even know how old they are. Like, I'm loving it, but I don't even remember their age right now.
The time jumps. Yeah.
I just thought they were just 13 the whole time. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, I'm not gonna do this jump here. They're 13 the whole time. That's just kind of where we're at. Oh, listen, your friend is feeling me on the council thing.
Yeah. Hell no.
I mean, I catch an attitude when people be like, just walk into your room and don't knock. I'd be like, so who raised you? Who raised you? Point them out so we can discuss. So I was like, no.
Noria gave us the ages. Start 13, midpoint 16, at the end 18. See? Thank you, Noria. Because I knew they were 16 at one point, because I remember like the 5-year time jump.
Yeah.
And I was like, but then I forgot about the other one. So
yeah. I knew they became adults at some point because of some of the scenes.
Yeah. And I remember the 15 and 16 too.
Is this when I can talk about how much I love Sanjeet? This is the time.
Oh my God.
To, like,
him. Yes.
I'm the biggest fan. Like, he is it. Let me tell y'all. Non-spoiler, but let me tell y'all.
Oh my God.
This boy just wanted to do good in the world, and he didn't have a good start in life. His parents, his mom was great, but he came from a troubled, kind of abusive household. He his ability is that he can see the weaknesses in people's bodies, and so his father used that against him basically to fight. And so just throughout this story, he just so wants to like use his abilities for good, to be a good person, but he's so loyal, and not even just with the Ray that they have to be loyal. Even before that, he just so wanted to be a good person. He just, that's my guy. Like, he 100% favorite. Love him. He deserves the world.
He was seriously everything. He was everything. I was like, where is Sanjit in my life? You know what I mean? Like, where you at though?
Jordan, if you know Sanjit in real life,
send
multiple copies.
At Bookish Ends.
Yeah.
I was still mad that the first time we meet him, he was legit tied up. Like, I was like,
Chained up.
Chained
You know,
up.
I was like, what is wrong? Like you said, who raised you? Like, why would you do that to somebody? Like,
yeah,
whatever. I'm still mad about that because I was just so like, why would you do that? He's like one of the sweetest people in this whole thing. Like, why would you do that? But
I agree with Noria. I loved him, then hated him at the middle because of that scene with Patrisse and Dio. Then he redeemed himself, and I went back to wanting to die for him.
I know, yeah, I know what you're talking about, Noria, because I was really like disappointed, but I understood. I understood why, but then I was still heartbroken because I'm like, man, you like 180'd real quick, like in the same day.
But
I think that I think that's what I loved about Sanjit though, is that we knew where his loyalty stood. So even though I was disappointed with how quick he kind of turned, at the same time, if you're looking, Dio is his little brother. That's, you know, a replacement for the siblings that he no longer has and can't interact with. And so in that sense, it made perfect sense why he would be Team Dio till the end, because that's where he's placed his sense of purpose, kind of. But it was disappointing, but that's still my guy. He came back.
Right. When the Patrisse and Dio situation happened, I was like, so you want these hands, sir? You trying to get these hands? And then I was like, oh, you really want these hands? And then I had to calm down and breathe. You know what I mean? And then the pettiness that our girl Patrisse did after, I was living for every sentence of the pettiness. I was like, that is a type of pettiness I aspire to be, because he was about to get these hands outside. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
These fiery ass hands. He was about to get them. So
you're right about that pettiness, though. I was like, there you go.
I have a question based on what Natalia just said. She said that the pull of right and wrong was always present throughout this book, and you never really had a grasp of what side you're on. And so that was kind of my question. How did you feel about the ambiguous villains, quote to say? So, for example, the lady is someone who we learn a lot about in this book, and you know, you could hate her or you could like her, maybe sympathize with her, empathize with her, et cetera, et cetera. And so I really like that in a book where the author gives you the facts, gives you what's happened, and they don't really make it up. Like, they leave it up for you to decide how you feel about a character. So I really enjoy the kind of ambiguous villain, or, you know, that kind of thing. But how did you guys feel about those characters?
I just love when an author presents characters that have redeeming qualities. I don't like to live in extremes. Like, I don't need you to be good all the time and evil all the time. That don't really resonate with me. So I appreciated that ambiguous nature of the book.
Yeah, I like that because it's true. Like, as much as we may try to be good all the time, we're not. And nothing's wrong with that. I think that's the first thing that this book kind of resonated with me too, is that it's okay to not always be good. It's okay to mess up sometimes, because, you know, not only does it kind of teach you about yourself, but it also lets you realize where you stand on certain things, and just kind of teaches you more of yourself and how to deal with other people. So I did like that. I don't know, like, I'm going to go back to the lady though, because you mentioned her. Like, I'm not going to lie. I like, after you find out her backstory and stuff, to the lady, I was like, yep, do it. Like, I'll do it. But you know, before then I was like, you're gonna have your daughter do that? Like, you're gonna like legit make her do this because she cannot say no. I don't know how I feel about that. So after the fact, which I feel like Jordan also did on purpose to make you, like, you know, feel a certain type of way about her, or maybe not, but then also finally explain it, because I was just like, okay, what happened? Why does she not have a name? Like, that made me mad too. Like what they like, what they said, like she just went by the lady. Somebody called her the lady, and then like her whole name and existence just like was erased. So I don't even think her name was ever like recorded anywhere because she was just the lady.
Yeah, I was hoping for her name to be revealed, but then in hindsight, I think it's good that it wasn't.
We all just kind of are thinking about it.
We're like, yeah.
I do want to point out I made Noria and Loki moderators in the chat.
Oh, look at you.
Okay. So we know. Another question is for Dayo's father. Thoughts?
None.
None.
Non-factor. So we kind of learned that, you know, he's not the greatest person because of some stuff that we learned about his background and his early childhood in the story. But honestly, like, I don't know. He just never. I don't care. I care about the new council and their life, and then the old council, Mbali and Thaddeus, like they were interesting. But you know, I'm caring more about, you know, Tarsai and everyone else, and I didn't care about him. He was there, but like I don't care. So.
He could have got these hands fiery. Quick. You know what I mean? In the mud and the rain. You know what I'm saying? Like dirty.
Yeah. Like at first, like I didn't really like him at first either, especially because of the way like him and his council were gonna treat Tarsai as a child too. And it's like, okay, so you're gonna do the same thing that you're upset about the lady wanting to do to your kid. You know what I mean? And then later on too, I was just like, you suck. Like, I'm so glad Dayo did not get any of your qualities, I feel like, because I don't like you. But yeah, honestly, I don't even think I mentioned him in the book or in my review because I didn't care.
He was low on the tier ranking. I did. The very low tier ranking. If you could have like a side story of one of the characters or more, who would it be?
Who?
And I know we talked about that earlier. Wooing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because I want to know what happened to him. Like,
wait, let me find her name. Because I got one, but I need to see the name. 1 second. Y'all keep going.
No, you're fine.
Noria said Mbali. Same. I feel like it's layers there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Natalia also said Mbali too. Oh, I like what Sammy said. She said, I felt like the new council represented hope. They had such rough, harrowing backgrounds, but aren't making the same mistakes as the previous generation. I like that too.
Speak your truth. Are you
okay? Yeah.
Sammy a blogger? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. I was like, that was eloquently written. I would have been.
Look at you, Sammy. You so eloquent.
I would have been like, the old counselor was trash, and they bought in the new, and it was great. Probably not.
I'm gonna say Yeun. I believe is how you say
I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not giving anything away, but definitely, you know, I need some story on her. She's fierce, a fierce little girl, and she's been through some things.
She got put in iconic on my tier ranking.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still gotta watch it. Yep.
She is iconic. I was like, oh, she is good stuff.
She don't
if you guys haven't seen Bree's character tier, go check it out. For real. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, Ewan is top 2, and you know, he might not be 2. He might not be 2. Ewan.
He might not be 2.
I want more stories of the like mythologies of it. Like I want to know where the two spirits like came from and how they're connected. I want more about her dad. I just want more.
Kira? I want more
Yeah,
songs. Because she chose to leave her family, so I want more of like that. I love Kira, so I want more of her and her story.
Yes. Okay, Noria. She's a total badass. We need more of her in book 2. Speak your truth. Speak your truth.
Yeah, I hope she's more involved.
Kira is bae. No lies.
Okay, out of the whole council, like the new council, Dio's council.
Yes.
Which one, even though like we didn't like really get to see all of them all the time, which one of them would you like? And I know you mentioned you like Maya Angelou, right? Yeah. So besides her or her, like who else do you like? Besides the main ones maybe that we talk about, or you can choose the main ones too, but who are the ones that you liked?
Sorry to keep referring to my tier ranking, but on the tier ranking, everybody outside of Sanjit and Kira, I was like, meh.
You refer to your tier ranking. It's fine.
Yeah, I was like, yep.
Yeah, I like my Etzel. But I would love to see more of the council. You know, like I would want to get to know them a little more because obviously they're, you know, with so many people, there's not enough time to go in depth. And even as we saw towards the end of the book, you know, there's some stuff that's gonna happen in the second one that we, you know, might not have that much time to focus on the first council. So we might not see them much again either. So from what I saw in the first book, I really liked the camaraderie between the women on the council, and like when they had to get their hair braided and they're spilling tea and talking, and I just thought that was such a good experience, relatable, very fun. We didn't really get to see a lot of the guys on the council, which I mean, I don't care. Woman power, let's go. But you know, so that was kind of my feeling towards the council.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt like I know Noria. I know that you interviewed her. You interviewed Jordan. Did Jordan ever say in the interview, because I watched it, but I don't remember, saying how many books she plans to put out?
I saw on Bookreads it said duology.
What?
Okay. Jordan, if you were here, please confirm.
This is not
I saw 2.
I thought it was a trilogy.
5. I would take 10.
I will take 7 at least. Put it in writing.
Spinning off.
Right. There are so many directions she could go. Like, it's so good.
So Noria said she didn't say. She just said she had put in book 2. So we don't know. She just put in book 2, so we don't know. But we're rooting for a trilogy or more. Also, happy birthday, Jordan. Totally saw that it was your birthday today on Twitter. So
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Ouch.
He's younger than me, and I feel a certain type of way because I'm like, you're so accomplished compared to me.
You accomplished too in your own way.
In my own way, because I did read this amazing book, so I accomplished that. I'm gonna put that on there. But hold on, I have to go back to this. I really liked the monotone of Emeronia. Every time she answered something, she was just straight monotone each time, and I loved it. And that was just her personality. Like, it didn't mean like she liked or didn't like it. That was just her tone. And I was just, I don't know, something about that just made me laugh. Because I think because I know somebody that's like that. And I'm always like, okay, what was that like? Are you being sarcastic right now? I can't tell. And then that person be like, no, I'm not being sarcastic. And I'm like, but you just sounded like you were sarcastic right now. And he's like, no, not at all. And I'm like, you still sound sarcastic. I cannot tell. So I had to just realize that literally that's how he sounds. So like with Emeronia. That's just how she sounds. So I could just hear her being so monotone, and it just made me laugh, even though we didn't get to see much of her. But I really hope that we get to see all of them within their roles, because we know that they had to go through so much training to learn about their roles, but I want to actually see them in their roles, make some changes, do what they got to do, and see how they go from there. Because especially because they're in their role kind of young, like at 18 is what we're doing. So
yeah, something else I loved in this book was kind of the theme of the collective versus the individual, but not like necessarily the individual, but in terms of like culture and universality, and whether each kind of land could have their own culture, or whether they needed to assimilate. So basically assimilation, and that whole theme I thought was super interesting, and the kind of questions that were raised about, I guess, Songland, and how the idea of, I guess, inequality in terms of, because we learned pretty early on that like Songland children have to be sacrificed to the underworld, basically. So just that whole conversation about that, I thought was such an interesting theme throughout the book, and Ewan and his role in that, and wanting to help the children of Songland, something that he'd been through before. That was like one of my, as someone, I forgot who mentioned in the chat, talked about, I think Loki, the mythology and just kind of like the history of the world that we're in, Eretzar. Like I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was the quote. Sorry, I'm like trying to be on the chat. A question from Noria. I think it's a good one. Gonna put it up. Well, that was not it, and this is it. What did we think about the Ayatoro twist at the end? Did we think it was expected? Did we see it coming? I did not see that coming.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone's read it, so I'll just say that, woo, man, some stuff got revealed, and I liked it though. I really liked it.
Yeah, I felt like shit went down within a 50-page span, and then you guys, my nephew's here. Sorry, I got emotional.
Hi, Bree's nephew.
My heart. That kid, I love him more than anybody else in the whole world, more than myself. Okay, anyway, sorry. But yeah, so my niece here. Why are they doing this to me? It's too much. But yeah, so while reading this book, I was not expecting that twist at all. I just thought it was a love story that was just dragging on. It was gonna eventually be told or something. I don't know. That's all I can say without spoiling.
Loki said that they forgot, and I'll say, to just jog your memory, something about the importance of women. Women were really important. We find out in this story.
Sammy. Okay, I'm sorry, because I said, yeah, I think I kind of forgot too. So that was a good reminder.
Sam. I keep calling you your name, your YouTube name. Yeah. Okay, Sam.
No, you're fine, because that's her old account. Just call it. It's fine. No, but that, yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Oh, and Noria said in drums. That was yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Leland, you can go too if you have something to say, but I'll say, what did you guys think about the different hollows, like the different abilities and gifts? I thought Tarsai's was so cool, being able to see memories and objects and people, like,
right? And to go back generations. Yeah. Wow. It's kind of like she could be a living historian in a way, Yeah. But
I like the hollows.
What'd you say?
I like the hollows, and I like how different they are. Honestly, I really like Sanjeet's hollow a lot, even though his dad wanted to use it for bad. But like what Sanjeet wanted to use it for, I felt like it was so useful. And I hate that his dad wanted to use it in such a bad way, because he's not a bad person, So his was kind of my favorite. And then Alexia, you wanted us to take that quiz, and my Hallow was flying. So I'm like, bye, everybody. You're never going to see me again because I'm out. So that would be my favorite Hallow if that was.
Us and Uwin, we flying.
I got Kira.
Oh, you did?
Oh, healing or like the singing?
Yeah. Like the song healing, right? Yeah.
It makes sense. I sing all the time. There's other reasons, but it made sense. I was here. Oh, hold on. Let's see. I wonder if Hallows are based on families. I can just put it up. Sorry. I wonder if Hallows are based on families in some way because Sanjit and his brother were so similar. That's what Noria talked about, and I thought that too. So like one person's was one physical and the other was emotional, and I like how she wrote that. So I was like, oh, does his mother have that power too? Yeah, true.
Sanjit's mom, though, that's all I have to say. And that's why I was laughing, because Noria's comment right there, I freaking laughed.
Noria, I'm nosy as fuck. It really be like that, though. You know, it really be like that.
Who had invisibility?
Noria.
No, you mean like in the I don't think anybody in the council did, or if they did, it wasn't specified. But yeah, I guess that was one that could be one of them, and I feel like that could be super useful. I know Kathleen's isn't really invisibility, but she can like shift her face to look like anybody. So
that was interesting.
I didn't trust her. I said what I said. She was a snake in the water, in the grass.
You said what you said. It's fine.
Did not like her. I was like, whew, I tried to, but it was hard. I do want to get to the next question. And this for anybody. I think a lot of people in the chat also read the book. Do we have any crushes?
Sanjit and Dio.
I was like, they're 18? Question mark? Yeah. Sanjit, yeah, that was like fave. Like fave. There was a scene where he was helping Tarsai heal or something of the sort. Like, I forgot what happened to her, but she like hurt something and he was helping, and I was like, ah.
What about you? Who's your crush?
I just don't need y'all to judge me here. I'm going to say that. So it wasn't like a crush, but it was like if I had a relationship with someone and, you know, the relationship had things that I like in a relationship, I couldn't take my mind out the fact that they were 13, so I wasn't crushing on them.
Right.
I was like, who's the next adult? Dayo's father.
The only thing you said, don't judge you. Excuse me. No, just kidding.
I thought you would say I thought you would say Melu. I thought you would say Melu, but you said Olubade.
So I was like, if we had to have a crush on somebody, what up, Pops? That was kind of where I was at. So
he'll be useful for something.
I was like, who's of age?
Noria said Kira. Kira was, I feel like Kira is a little too, I don't know, she's a little saucy at times. I don't know if I can handle that. I need someone sweet.
Okay. Speak your truth now. Speak your truth.
I love Noria. I will keep her home for her. Have me doing dishes, and I hate doing dishes. There you go. That's real love right there, Noria. That's real.
Noria, things we do for love. I can't stand her. Is it ridiculous?
I like what Tammy said too. Yeah, Halloween.
Yeah.
His giant cat. It wasn't a cat.
Listen, I want to go on that cat.
Yeah.
In the sky. It just lived. That one seemed great. I'm like, what
The
is it?
lodestone traveling, that was crazy. That every time they talked about lodestone traveling and like how sick it would. I was like, why would I do it? Like that sounds terrible.
No, that's another thing. I just really, maybe I'm just really selfish, but I'm just like, if somebody was ever like, oh, do you love me to accept this Ray? Do you love me to accept these hands? Because I gotta go. Where is the nearest where is the nearest exit so I can get up out of here? Like, you not go. No, lock me in a dungeon then, because I'm not saying yes ever.
So basically, you have to be in charge of the Ray because you're not taking anybody's
Not
Ray.
doing none of it. Like none of it. None of it. No, ma'am. So
I love that.
I can't do it.
Okay, if the goal of the lodestones was to be able to cross the kingdom faster, I feel like their system did not do it in a good way because of the fact that she literally had to take at the end, she had to go through like what? Something like over 20 something lodestones just to get to where she needed to go. I was like, okay, that's too much already. Like this should be from here to here. That's it.
Yeah, I felt like it was kind of froggy, right? You just hop in the, pad, lily pad to lily pad. But this one, especially if the hairline is correct, took me out. That one took me out. Oh God, I gotta back because I got no tissue. Woo! It really be like that. It really be like that. What? So my problem with the Ray is that the council doesn't get anything. Yeah, they don't. They get death.
Well, I mean, if they're supposed to, no, you're right. They power up. They power up him.
He don't power up them.
Well,
yeah.
I think if you have the Ray though, you don't want anything. They're willing to die for the ruler. Like they don't need, anything because they don't care. They will do anything to like sacrifice themselves for. Well, sometimes they will. I'll read the book. But for most part, they're willing to sacrifice themselves for the ruler.
Back to my earlier statement, it's a cult.
Okay, what about that twist at the end-ish before? Okay, the twist where two people are no longer in the book anymore.
I was not expecting for it to happen that way. I wanted more flair. I really wanted it to be dragged out. It didn't happen, but it's okay. Like I still liked it.
Yeah. It was funny because I didn't even really get mad at Ewan. Like I was kind of like, you kind of jumped the gun a little bit, but I didn't really get mad at him because I was like, hey, it'd be like that sometimes. You do stuff and it don't work out the way it should, and but it was sad, but I was also like, it happens.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense, Loki. That makes sense. They get lifted out of poverty and respect and power in society, plus a family. I think it's more of a commentary about the world that they would be willing to go through so much just for that. Exactly, because Patrisse kept being like, I have a family, I have a family, I have a family. Where's my mom? I have a family. She ain't shit. I have a family. So definitely. Yeah, I agree.
Which I loved because she didn't have that growing up. And then she was finally able to have people that genuinely cared about her. So that warmed my heart.
Yeah. Noria, my problem with the Ray is that the council. Oh, did we already say that? Oh no, we didn't.
Well, she added a little bit of it, except for positions, the stress, and then the Raybearer is the only one who gets immunity. I know, right?
I wish
you better hope you don't die.
Yeah, I really hope the immunity would have spread. Like, once you get a situation, I'm not gonna spoil it. Once you get a bang bang, and then I get it, and then I don't even know how to say it. Once you get anointed, then I get anointed. Words. Who needs them? Yep.
That's why we're basing it off of Jordan's words, because we can.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. How fast will you pre-order the next book?
I don't think I pre-ordered the second one. My first book I pre-ordered was this past month. I pre-ordered Cemetery Boys. That and because I'm starting to see that the way that these pre-order incentives are working, there's some good stuff. I'm like, hold up.
I almost pre-ordered Cemetery Boys, and then some happened, and I thought I did, and then I look at my Gmail, and there was nothing, and I was like, oh.
Like, so that's how it's gonna be, Bree. No, you're telling yourself, so that's how it's gonna be.
I was like, oh, so sis, you were sleeping? You were in the back? What were you doing? Because I pulled it up when he posted it. When they posted it on Twitter, and I was like, oh, you get all this swag, and I was ready, and then I went to Barnes and Nobles, and then my aunt told me about the corporation of Barnes and Nobles as a whole, and then I had like this internal, like, capitalist hatred thing going, how I feel similar to Amazon, and then I was just like, what do I do now? And then I panic. I think that's what happened. When I think of it too much, I panic, and then it like blacks out, and I was like, well, see you later, Cemetery Boys, but I'll buy the book when it comes out.
Honestly, I would buy it. I would hopefully, be given an arc also. And then I want to, you hear me? Okay. Amulet book.
Amulet, Jordan.
I want the art. But I want like a cool, I want a cool copy. Like I would want one probably with like some sprayed edges. Like if I'm buying it, again, I would want something like really cool on the pre-order.
I know, like this one, I really like the edge.
Don't talk to me about that. Nice. I've been dying for that book. When you posted it, I was like, I was hurt for myself, but super happy for you. I was like, I've been wanting that book this whole time. But that's pretty. I love that copy. Yeah.
Wow. I think you guys continue talking amongst yourself. I'm just going to pre-order it right now.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry, I have to be like proactive.
You can pre-order it from bookshop.org. I think that's that's more of a independent bookstores. So it's not corporation-y like Amazon and Barnes and Noble. That's okay. There you go.
I will do that because I was like,
yeah. That's why I've been buying my books now for sure. Like, I don't even use Barnes and Noble anymore. But yeah, no, once it's announced and there's an actual link to purchase it, I think I will, because I'm already so invested in the story and I loved it so much, like genuinely loved it. It's not just like, oh, I'm on a tour, I got to talk positive about it. It's like, no, I really like this book. Even if I was not on the tour, I would be recommending this to like a lot of people. So, or everybody. Yeah.
I mean,
so
top YA fantasy, it did the thing. Like top YA fantasy. I've been reading a good amount of fantasy this year, and like this, y'all ain't read nothing like this before. No one is doing it like Jordan is doing it, period.
I was really, really impressed.
I just feel that this book came at a great time for me because, like I said to you guys, when I was younger, I really was here for a fantasy situation. Then I got older, and it wasn't like the age. I'm not saying that, but just my reading taste changed. And now I'm here for that mystery thriller, historical fiction. Ooh, that's where I live. So then I just see in the Booktube community and Bookstagram community, everyone is sci-fi, fantasy. And I was like, let's just dip our toe in, one pinky at a time and check it out and see what I would like. And then I got this book and I was like, man, it's going to be just like the others. Waste of time. And then I read it and I was like, isn't she lovely? I was into it. You know what I mean? I was like,
Yes.
it's my time. It's my time. So if Jordan trying to do us dirty, because let's be real, do us dirty and give us one more book, we got to send out emails.
Send out emails to Jordan like, write this.
We got to
I already feel like she's gonna break my heart in the second one. Some with Ewan or Sanjeet, like something's gonna happen and my heart's just it's gonna break. It's gonna hurt. But I want the best for them, but I'm scared.
Hold on.
Sorry, I got offered food apparently.
Better World books. Huh. Okay, that seems cool.
I love historical fiction though. Like I never was really into it before when I was younger. And then I think the one that I really got into was the Next Year in Havana story by Chanel Clayton. I really, really enjoyed that. And then from there, I was able to kind of branch out into different historical fiction novels, especially when it's not European related. I'm eating candied bacon, Knox. I don't know. Like, it was just put in my mouth. I don't know. But I think that's what it is.
Sometimes you want candy bacon in your life, you know?
Exactly. That's what it is. But yeah, no, yeah. What you guys were saying about how this just felt like such a different type of fantasy, even a different YA fantasy, and it's just something like you've never read before. I felt that too. Like it really just took me into a whole different kind of world from what I've been used to in other novels. So it was a really good experience. I liked it a lot.
There's one other fantasy and sci-fi author who I love and would read any book, any paper, any article that they put out, and that's N.K. Jemisin. And I don't really think highly of sci-fi and fantasy authors like that, but like the world building and like her mind and the way things are set up and how like characters are brown, most of them have locks. I'll be like, sis, that's me, you know? So it's like, I'll be like, where we're at, that's me, that's where I live. I grew up there now. But now I'm not comparing Jordan to N.K. Jemisin, but like now I feel like any book she puts out, I would be like, that's me. I want to read it. I want to know what's going on, which I don't feel that way about other authors I've been reading.
I said that in my review. I was like, anything else she writes, I'm there, because her writing, her storytelling was just so good. Another, I read a sci-fi series this year because I haven't really been reading. I don't really read that much sci-fi anymore like I used to. But it was called Ecosystem, the Ecosystem series by Joshua David Bellin. I won like the whole series, and when I read that, it was 4 books, and I was amazed. Like I was so into it. I was telling my mom every time something happened, I would be like, yo, this is what's happening in this book, because it was so good. Basically, the kind of like premise in a way is that it would be like what the world would come to if like bees died, and it was like crazy. But I was like, I'm really into this sci-fi fantasy world. I've been getting more into it because it's fun. It's a little, because I'm usually, my series are like, my genre is usually like YA romance, or like just regular romance.
Yeah.
But like fantasy is that girl. She is.
I have a question for you guys. So after reading this, what other book would you recommend to somebody who is not a usual YA fantasy fan, but wants to also try something within the YA fantasy genre?
I would say you should start with N.K. Jemisin 5th Season trilogy. I really like that trilogy. But I don't have like a large repertoire. on like giving someone, you know, Rex on that. But before I finish that thought, did you guys I'm not even gonna ask a question, you can comment if you want to, but the biggest thing I liked about Raybearer is how the pace was not describing every blade of grass. That's like really what gets me in books where you're like, and then the walls were teal and it dripped down from the ceiling and then there was a rock on the radiator. Like, I don't really need to know all of that. Like, my girl was like, and this happened and now we're on and here we are. Like, even the traveling part of the book, the next chapter was like, and I'm there. It wasn't like, and I'm still going through these lodestones trying to figure it out. So I really appreciate how fast paced it was. Oh yeah, a Kata witch for sure.
So I'll
And
touch
Daria
on
said
both.
she has to leave.
Oh,
It's past
bye.
11.
See you later, love. Also, Nation.
I'll touch on both of those. So for Leland, well, I don't know. I haven't been reading that much like YA fantasy. Like right now I'm like reading the Court of Thorns and Roses series, but like I wouldn't recommend that really for like if you like really liked Raybearer and stuff like that. But I will say I just read the first book of Ace of Shades, and I think that if you're not into like high fantasy, or you're wary about it, that's a good fantasy where it's basically kind of like about cards and like card dealing and like these gangs on the street who have different abilities. Like it's very realistic, more, and it's not very high fantasy. So if you're kind of like trying to get into fantasy, I'd recommend Ace of Shades. I've only read the first one right now, but I really enjoyed it. And one of the main characters is dark skin. So it's a little bit of more diversity than a lot of other fantasies. But I haven't read it yet. But it's on my shelf right now, Legendborn. I'm going to recommend it right now.
I'm reading it right now. It's so good. I'm sorry.
It's simply everything I've heard about it. It's amazing, and I cannot wait to read it. And I feel like even if I haven't read it yet, I'm recommending it. I think you'll love it. If you need to read it.
Listen, when Hear Our Voices put that out, I looked to myself. I said, "Are you going to sign up?" And I said, "No, you're not. You don't have time." And then my other self was like, "But you need to make time." And then my other self was like, "Bitch, you don't have time." So I struggled with the time aspect. And then I was like, that's somebody else. So I'm ready for y'all reviews. Moral of the story.
So wait, Alexia, did you sign up for the tour?
Yes, I'm on the tour. I have my arc.
There you go. Yes.
Yes, I'm super excited. But to touch on what Bree said, I think there's a time and a place for a lot of description. But in this book, I think there was just so much happening that I really appreciated it being more centered on the plot and the mythological fantasy aspects of the chants and the songs and the history of the cultures and things like that, and not very much describing, the land or all these other things. I really appreciated that in this book, just because there were so much more interesting things to touch upon. Like sometimes the world building is very essential, and I like to hear about, how the world works and all that. But in this book, I think it was so much more important to focus on the people and their backgrounds than necessarily some of the setting aspect.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like certain authors do like to focus a little bit too much on the nuances of like we were saying, the grass and blah 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 and stuff like that, and you're like, okay, I really don't. If the grass is gonna be important, then okay, but if it's not, then I'm gonna need you to not describe the grass in detail. That's me.
I think that's why I think that's why I have a hard time with fantasy, because in my mind, there's some people's brain who can understand high fantasy, and the world just, envelops them, and they can just imagine it right in front of their eyes. When I'll just be still stuck on how you describe the roof, like it won't fit right, or like not even right. I shouldn't say that. It just won't resonate for me in a way that it would with someone else, which is why, although I like N.K. Jemisin, I think her books are high fantasy. I don't know if it is or not, but I think they are, because I'd be like, I have to read those books really slow and intentional, and I really love her books, but I'd be like, damn, there's so much. Like, you got to pay attention to so much, because like two sentences and you'll be like screwed. Like, if you don't pay attention to every part of those books. What we got? That's my writing, flowery as heck. Is it still open? Legendborn?
I kind of just checked, and I sent a direct link to Noria in our chat.
Okay.
But no, nobody else, because I don't know if it's, Sign up, Noria, because I gave it to you. But no, there was another question. Oh my God. There was another question. Oh,
Where?
no, that I was thinking of while we were talking, and then I like totally spaced.
Oh,
I don't know. Go ahead.
I did have a question. So thinking about Raybearer, do you think that this book can be comparable to another book that's out there?
You could try, but nothing is going to hit. I think I saw Jordan tweet something that someone tried to say her book was similar to Hunger Games, or like something like that. Like, it just, I don't know what people believe in. Like, this, it's so unique. Like, maybe they tried to hit on the different like lands or the council. I don't know, but this book is just so unique.
No, I remember that, because she was like, somebody said, is this like Hunger Games? Because of the 12 people. So they were thinking the 12 was going to go into one, like they're going to have like a culling. And she's like, no, that is not like how it's going to be at all. But I don't know. I'm like literally looking at my bookshelf right now, and I can't think of anything that I would really compare Raybearer to at all. Like, I don't know. It just, like we were talking about, it just felt so different. So I really can't.
I just feel like the caucasity in that statement, to say and to compare it to the Hunger Games, I've had enough. I said it. That's enough.
It's not even the same at all, but okay.
I don't know. Knox said the only similarity is the 12 areas. Yeah.
And then Songland is District 13. No, just kidding. Literally.
You're stretching it. You're stretching it.
I am stretching it, because I'm like, it's not, but okay.
Do you guys have any final thoughts about the book?
Should I go?
Yes, go, because I can't.
I will say that I wrote a review about this on my blog, but I can't speak, Bookish N, so you can check it out. But I will just say that I so deeply loved and appreciated this book, the characters, the cultural elements, the settings, to see a Black girl, just this powerful and, someone so central to this book. I think a lot of teens and young readers will really be able to appreciate this book, maybe see some of themselves in the characters. And I just loved it. And I think Jordan did an amazing job, and I can't wait to see what comes next because this story left you wanting more, and I need more.
Yeah.
What about you, Brie? I'll go last.
That's really hard to follow.
Right?
That's deep right there. All I would say is that if you're like me and, you know, fantasy is more of a meh than a go-to, definitely check out this book. I loved it. I read it pretty fast. I was really shocked because when I started reading this book, it was like 9 o'clock at night, 8 or 9, and I was like planning to go to sleep. I was just going to read it as much as I could until I fell asleep. Next thing I know, the sun was looking at me. So I'm just saying that it's real, and please have your sticky notes on deck because you're going to want to like digest some things. And while reading this book, I just kept, when stuff was happening, I was being like, I just felt shattered at some point, but definitely catch this book when you can.
Okay, I guess I don't know how I'm going to top that, but basically, if you have ever been younger and you felt like you had to hide a part of yourself because it wouldn't be deemed acceptable in society, I feel like Patrisse goes through that, and she shows you that society can be wrong about that, and you can be yourself in the best way that you can. So if you've ever felt that way, I think this book will really resonate with you because it'll kind of, you know, it'll show you that you can do that too. And even though it can take a lot of sacrifice and it can be scary to do that, being yourself is what's really important, and staying strong to your beliefs and your values more than conforming to what society thinks is okay. Yeah. So that's why this book was really important to me, because it just like with her hair finally, and when you read it, you'll see why this cover and this image is so important. Mm-hmm. So think about this cover while you're reading it, and when you get to that part, let me know, because that was the moment that I was like, it's time to be ourselves. It's time to be ourselves. So yeah, that's my thing.
Wait, let's all put our books.
Who's taking the photo?
Hold on. I can take it. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Okay, I messed up again. All right. And ready? Oh, it said your screenshot cannot be saved. Okay.
No.
I got one. I think I got one.
Okay, you try. Okay. We'll try again. Technical difficulties, but it's okay. Okay. Yay! You got to send that to us.
Yeah.
I do want to add one other thing, is that this is also a book that challenges how you view yourself. So if you feel that you are pigeonholed and you feel like your circumstances are what they are and you are not the change agent in that, this book challenges that. It teaches you that you are beyond your circumstances. You are beyond the bricks that have been laid and paved out for you. You decide when, and you decide who, and you have to find that strength within yourself. So definitely, I wanted just to add that.
Mm-hmm. And thank you everybody for engaging with us, because that was really fun. Yeah. Sammy, Knox, Bookshade, Noria, Nat, everybody. Thanks, Knox. You guys are really great. I think this was really fun. And yeah, maybe we can give it to Jordan as a birthday present. Be like, look at us talking about your book. Yeah. Don't forget to think about us for the sequel.
If you want to name the character Bree, go ahead and live your life.
Yeah, just think about us.
Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you, Dejano, everyone, Knox, everyone who watched. This was my first live discussion, and I had so much fun, and we need to do this again.
Yes. So
And, you know, I think we did a good job not spoiling the book because I was going to just spoil it all for you. So I think we did good.
yes,
We got to do this again.
yes. Oh, my friend Leah. Okay,
Okay, yeah, we're going to have to do this for another book. This is so fun.
so I'm going to end the chat, but I ask that you guys stay on a little bit because I got to ask you guys something. But
Yeah.
we will talk to y'all later. See you later.
Bye.